वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल। ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स इन टैक्स प्रोसीडिंग्स की श्रृंखला में हम आगे चल रहे हैं एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स स्पेसिफिकली इन रिलेशन टू फेसलेस असेसमेंट्स, इनकम टैक्स के नोटिसेस, रिप्लाईज एंड मैनी अदर थिंग्स। ड्राफ्टिंग इस समय इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट हो गया है बिकॉज फेसलेस में you are not allowed to interact personally with the assessing officer for your assessments. तो इसमें हम इस पूरे जो हम सीरीज ऑफ वीडियोस है इसमें हम यही डिस्कस करेंगे कि what is the best strategy that you need to successfully apply to defend your case. तो हम इन सारे वीडियोस में यही बात करेंगे। वीडियोस मैंने छोटे छोटे रखे हैं सो दैट इट डोंट गो टू लॉन्ग, इट हैज़ टू बी ईजी टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड हम हर टॉपिक में हर वीडियो में एक ऐसा टॉपिक इंक्लूड करेंगे विच इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड यू शुड रिमेंबर एट द टाइम ऑफ ड्राफ्टिंग योर केस, एनी असेसमेंट केस. First and the most important thing is if the facts are on your side, say like assessment officer ने कोई चीज़ इग्नोर कर दी है and the facts are on your side, you have to pound on the facts. Pound the facts on the table. बिछा दो, टेबल पे बिछा दो and you have to make it such an important part of your submission. सबसे important highlight वही करना है हमें पूरे submission में, हमें वही ध्यान रखना है. If the facts are on your side. And if the law is on your side, pound the law into the table. You have to identify कि law, अगर law कोई चीज़ कह रहा है that I remember a case 48(3) का एडिशन था, 10,000 रुपीज़ इन कैश वाला मैटर था and the assessing officer was telling कि no I will make this addition and मैंने facts में मेरे facts भी अच्छे थे. Facts were like there was no variation, there was no deviation from the section 48(3) सेक्शन. तो उसमें फिर हमने क्या किया, वी जस्ट टुक द लॉ वाला पॉइंट लिया, वी पाउंडेड ऑन द लॉ पॉइंट. वी सेड द लॉ इज़ वेरी क्लियर, योर कैश पेमेंट्स शुड एक्सीड ₹10,000, only then you can harp on this section. And what happened? We took the law to our side, pounded the law onto the table, and the case was ours. If neither the facts nor the law, this is on the lighter side, are on your side, pound the table. ये हम करते थे, करते हैं rather अभी भी, we keep it so. This is, ये वाला जो third point है इसमें your exclusive drafting skills are going to come into place. So if neither the facts भी है but you're not able to prove it, and even the law which is coming is sticking, or there is a क्या कहते हैं mix match or fix up, then you need to pound the table. And here comes a real role to the assessment proceedings में writing submissions, written submissions. Written submissions तो खैर वो जो दोनों points है, if the facts are on your side then also you have to expressly, you have to put it on the table by way of your written submissions. You don't have to talk there because you're not allowed to interact personally with the assessment officer. So if the law is on your side, then pound the law. You have to put it so important part of your submission. Many of us followed this for many years. Yes, we've done this. If we are doing it personally, then we are doing this on the table. But if we're not doing it on the table, कई बार we do across the table, under the table. Okay. Many of us followed this for many years while arguing cases across the table with the assessing officer and appellate authorities. And under table, of course, you know, if it's not pound the table, it is pound under the table, which used to be the case, and उसी की वजह से we have this faceless assessment. So there is no scene of pounding under the table. It's on the lighter side. Tips for concise expression. In this slide, we're going to talk about the tips for the concise expression. Concise, you have to be pretty well stay to the point. Well, in the faceless regime, we do not have any physical table between us and the assessing officer anymore. So the last sentence is now redundant, but the first two sentences are still alive and kicking, and we need to continue to follow that part of the advice even now. So pound the law on the table, pound the facts on the table. If both of them are getting complicated, then pound the table. I mean, you write your submissions in such a way that facts and the law both go hand in hand. We need to pound first or strike effectively the facts and or law in our written submission. This is what I wanted to bring to your notice in the form of a written communication. And when the hearing over the video conferencing is granted, then over such hearing. Video conferencing, as per my experience, it comes like it's just a mere formality. Whatever you say in the video conferencing, even though the opportunity is being given to you, but it seems like it is just granted in a very casual manner. I mean, they don't even record it properly. They don't. It's my experience. Others may vary from what I say, but it's just a mere formality. So whatever you're giving in the writing submission, in the written submission becomes the crux of everything, because the assessing officer has to deny that he's not agreeing to your point. If your point is so clear, he will be having a tough time to get over your saying. Our written communication is the table on which we can pound our facts and the law for being effectively communicated. This is exactly what I mean to say. Tips and techniques for effective writing. Yes. In this series of videos, we are going to talk only about the tips and techniques for effective writing. So whenever you are on with the assessment proceedings, with any of the tax reply or with any of the demand notice reply or the stay proceedings or any other petition, then you have to always remember these tips and techniques, which is unique and very common for the entire replies which you will be giving. So this entire series of videos we are dedicating to the objective of sharing certain techniques to be able to really strike off what you want to say when the adjudicating officer is not in front of us, but only will be reading our submissions and will be largely make up his mind after such reading, often leaving the offer of a hearing over video conferencing a mere formality, which is they do as of now. So we have to be very cautious when we are making any written reply. You have to follow these tips and techniques. Those small tips and techniques, छोटी tips and techniques मैं आपको दूंगी, but then they are going to be very important. Know what opportunities you get in faceless assessment regime. You get around 2 to 3 hearings normally in by way of written submissions. 142.1 comes in, 140, 143.2 comes in, and then you have the show cause notice 1, 2, 3 at times also. Before getting into these techniques, it is important to have a quick overview of the faceless assessment provisions, which is section 144B. We are going to discuss that. And this, though, we are going to discuss in the entire series of videos, because this is the crux of the faceless assessment. While in subsequent videos, a detailed scope and provisions of this section will be discussed. At this stage, we know that the opportunity given to us is to make submissions before the NFAC. We have to be very cautious. Say like any of the facts which you want to mention and which you had failed to mention, आपने उसे assessing officer के सामने present नहीं कर पाए, maybe at that time it wasn't available or whatever, तो आप अपने replies में उसको, अगर assessing officer के पास वो notice में नहीं गया है, पहला opportunity आपको मिल गया, second opportunity में you have to incorporate it in the form of table. Tables are more speaking than your written communication. You have to incorporate tables, charts and graphs. ये बहुत काम आता है जब percentage wise addition होता है. They make a comparative chart and then वो पिछले 2 साल 3 साल उन सब के according they make an addition either by way of net profit enhancement, percentage application or whatever. ऐसे करके so वहाँ पे we have to be very cautious. We have to give them in the form of tables, charts and graphs. ये इतने expressive होते हैं, हमने बचपन में स्कूल में भी पढ़ा था कि tables, charts और graphs written communication से ज़्यादा effective होते हैं. And yes, we find that place in our written submissions. तो हमें इस चीज़ का ध्यान रखना चाहिए. And खूब सारे tables incorporate कीजिए, charts लगाइए so that they get more expressive and at one glance one can understand what we are trying to explain them. There has to be effective use of visuals to enhance understanding. आप जब भी कोई ऐसी चीज़ प्रोड्यूस करें, टेबल्स, चार्ट्स एंड ग्राफ्स, ये इतने विजुअलाइज्ड होते हैं, ये आपके अंडरस्टैंडिंग को तुरंत इंक्रीज कर देते हैं. व्हाट पॉइंट आर यू ट्राइंग टू मेक? say like I draw a paragraph, I write 2 paragraphs, and I draw one table, and that table is so speaking rather than the reading of those paragraphs. And the important, again, one important point is additional reference materials you need to bring in. Say like you have given a reply, एक reply आपने दे दिया, उसमें you have mentioned some of the documents, and then there is still a query which is appearing, which is coming from the side of the assessing officer, 142(1) he is sending, and he is asking for a elaborative information. Then वहाँ पे I would request you to kindly give some additional reference materials. You put in those tables and charts and everything in place. And I'm sure कि एक well organized structure and legal proceedings and references अगर आप देंगे, then इससे बहुत बढ़िया हमारा काम होगा. And हमारा written submission is going to be the best one. Since we cannot visually observe the responses and reactions of various officers, we have to ensure that the drafting skills are sufficiently developed to powerfully convey our interpretation across various proceedings. Good legal writing forms the foundation for effective communication, and it is the necessity in the faceless governance. Good legal writing forms. Good legal writing, we have to keep this in mind, that there has to be a legal written thing. It has to be good, and it has to be with the proper organization, and you need to incorporate the legal proceedings and references. अगर आपके पास केस लॉ वगैरह है तो वो भी आपको करने हैं. Normally, we are used to dealing with numbers. Outlining our thoughts on a paper with respect to submissions will take some time. More importantly, we would need to be consciously aware of the impact of the written word and frame our submissions accordingly. मुझे याद है जब हम पहले ऑफिस में होते थे and orally कोई चीज़ होती थी, then people used to say, put it in black and white. I mean, write an email. So उस समय लगता था यार email क्यों लिखवाते हैं, हम बोल तो रहे हैं. But then no, now I realize written communication is so effective. Even if the other person forgets कि क्या बोला था, क्या discuss किया था. But when you give something in writing, you have given a written submission, you have given a written reply. तो अगर आप वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग में भी कोई चीज़ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं and the officer is asking you to submit something, then whenever you are sending a reply, you have to refer to the video conferencing. इससे क्या होगा कि जो एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट, एडिशनल पॉइंट रेज हुआ है, एंड यू आर ऑलरेडी मेड एन आंसर टू दैट, सो दैट इज़ नॉट स्किप्ड इफ यू हैव पुट एवरीथिंग इन ब्लैक एंड वाइट. So that is really important. Anything that you put in black and white is accounted by the department, because they have to either accept it or deny it. If accepting it is in your favor, if not accepting, they need to give an express denial for that. They will have to give an express reason for that. So that is a bingo in any situation for the SSE. क्योंकि अगर उनका denial is in the wrong side, then you have 100% chances to win.